1, 2, 3, go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. Livecast 88 coming to you live from my office with the monkey cam. And I got nothing to go with today. It's going to be a short show. I got like an hour, maybe hour and change, but I've got to finish up some Christmas shopping and whatnot that need to get done, and then, go hang out with family because it's the season. But a couple of you already threw out some super chats, so I might as well tackle those right off the bat. Andreas Johansson. Houston, love your show. Any updates on known, and what do you think of GGPI? The only update I have of known is that they raised like $4 million by just creating some NFTs and selling them. So they got some quick cash that way. That's the only last update I have. I don't know where in the process of testing for their blood glucose level apparatuses they are. Somewhere in there, I don't know. But the last update they sent out was about how they raised over $4 million selling some NFTs. And if you can do it, why not? Jump on that. GGPI, they're a SPAC, and they're merging with or buying Polestar. If you guys know what Polestar is, it's an electric car company that was a spin-off of Volvo, and Volvo is now owned by Geely. So I guess Geely is selling Polestar or making them available so that they can be traded through GGPI. Polestar makes some cool cars. They're, all-wheel drive, electric, badass rigs. Cost much more money than I could afford to buy a car for. But, these electric car companies are hot stocks for everyone, so people are jumping in on it. If you notice, Naked Brands became an electric car company recently, and they just did a reverse split, so their stock price isn't a penny stock anymore. It's trading, $5-6 somewhere around there. And then they're going to have, I guess, a big display at CES if CES happens. We don't know. With Omicron, that stuff might get postponed. They postponed the World Economic Forum. So while the time I'm supposed to be in Switzerland is when they do the World Economic Forum in the town that I go to. And normally, I'm on the train and rub elbows with fund managers and billionaires and stuff. But I guess it's not happening this year, so no elbow rubbing for me. And what else in the? Well, didn't Rivian get truck of the year or something? So they've got that going for them. So electric vehicles are hot. And if you watched the Shatner in Space documentary on Amazon Prime, you get to see my friend Sarah, who's crew member 7. She's the one that does all the astronaut training, so you get to see her in there. But they drive Rivians. It's like Rivian everywhere, and all the trucks they're driving around. So yeah, there's your electric car update for the day. Meow Meow super chats. Hey Houston, it's Puxtony Phil. Turn off your intro. Oh, there we go, and click. Intro is off. Happy birthday. Why shouldn't we DRS our shares when OS? I mean, you can if you want to. I'm just not. So, it's just a pain in the butt. I am totally fine with Fidelity. I'm good with Fidelity. They can deal with when I gotta sell my shares or whatever. And Meow Meow also super chats. What are your thoughts on Bigelow Aerospace and their ideas for space travel? Bigelow is kind of small. They've got some contracts for space station type pods. Basically, they take the stuff that's like Kevlar, but stronger. I can't remember the name of it. And they inflate these big bubbles, so you have this pressurized balloon essentially. And that's their habitat apparatus in space. They did have a division that was going to try to create launch vehicles, but I think that is over with. I think they stopped with that. And then I don't think they have any employees right now. I think they just kind of shut everything down for COVID, and they aren't doing anything. So I have no idea where they are. They've got a few NASA contracts. But I honestly don't know where they are with their NASA contracts, considering that they aren't doing anything now that they're shut down with COVID. I guess, the Wikipedia article, the most recent thing they said is that when COVID's over, they're hiring everyone back. But for now, they're all, in limbo and probably finding other jobs because unemployment has run out and whatnot. Okay, let's get back up here. Let's get up at the top. Yes, J-Dog, James Webb Space Telescope launches tomorrow, and I'm hoping that it goes well and that when it gets to 1 million miles away from Earth and they open everything up, that it doesn't fail miserably and it's not just a paperweight floating around space. Tom Zerlatka, Houston, when shares get recalled, do the shares that got rehypothecated also get recalled? Everything gets recalled. The rehypothecation is just quick loans of toxic assets that hedge funds will do to get quick cash. And sometimes what they do is they take what is actually a loan, they'll take this pile of toxic assets, they'll give it to a bank for quick cash as a loan, as collateral. And then what they'll do is they'll record that as a sale on their books and lie, and while also it being a loan. And so they basically like double the value of their books by saying, oh, we sold all this stuff, and then also still record it as assets that they are under control of. It's pretty shady stuff. Josh Pet Pals, Tennessee. Happy holidays. What's the biggest adventure you're planning for 2022 outside of the MOAS, of course? Well, Switzerland is always fun. So I guess that's right off the bat. Beyond that, I haven't really thought about what the summer season is going to be because I still need to fix the truck before I do anything. I'll probably do a Mojave trip this spring. If I can get the truck working, I'll do a Mojave trip. And hopefully there's a super bloom. And I can go see flowers end of March, beginning of April. Go climb around some rocks, see some ghost towns. Monkey butt can hopefully not get eaten by a rattlesnake, and we'll have a good time. I do like the Mojave trips. You like the Mojave trips too. You just hate being in the car. Summer-wise, I have no idea what summer is gonna entail. I am teaching a class that's like a 1-week course where we take the film students out and we do like nature documentaries out in the forest. So I'll probably go up in like Okanagan and do gold panning and rock hounding and look for bugs and I don't know, wolverines and whatever else are out there. I'll make little nature documentaries for a week. So I'm teaching that course. I think it's towards the end of June, but we haven't quite finalized all that stuff yet, and still working on it. Okay. Ooh, and Cameron Mirza, Merry Christmas. Did Toys R Us open a new store? They did. They opened a giant new store, like a 2-floor, 100,000 square foot store with like a slide and stuff somewhere in New Jersey. So this is what Laser Haas was talking about, is that the vulture capitalists will get the company, liquidate everything, and then they'll relaunch the brand and make the company go public again, have an IPO, collect it all, bankrupt the company, liquidate everything, relaunch the brand. So this is like the third iteration of them relaunching Toys R Us since the original bankruptcy that happened a few years ago when they liquidated all that stuff. So they're kind of doing the FAO Schwartz model before the vulture capitalists destroyed FAO Schwartz, where they have slides, it's interactive, and it's like going to Disney, like a mini little Disneyland, and that seems to be what they're going with this time with Toys R Us. So it's much more of an experience. And as a business wise, if you want to create a successful business, you create that experience store, and then you can utilize that store as a warehouse essentially. People buy stuff online, so they can go to toysrus.com and do all that stuff. But then the kids will want to go and like touch the toys and handle everything, and It's a much more visceral experience for them. Just from Dax. What's worse, catching COVID-19 or catching anthrax? Happy holidays. I think at this point, catching anthrax would probably be pretty crappy. Simply because everyone will think it's COVID-19 and be trying to treat the wrong thing. Because that's what everyone's getting when they think, why would someone have anthrax right now? If you guys saw that, like QAnon and the Turning Point conferences they had, and everyone is convinced that they were like gassed with anthrax, even though none of them were vaccinated, none of them were wearing masks during a gigantic wave of Omicron. And they're all like, oh, we've been poisoned by the powers that be because they don't like our ideas. It's like, no, buddy, you just were breathing in a room full of people during a pandemic. And that's all it took. Oh, okay. A Monkey Adventure show, Jonathan K. would be fantastic, right, Monkey? She's got her own adventure show going on called Bored Napping While Houston Talks to the Computer. Grandpa Barney, Grandma and Grandpa Barney send a very Merry Christmas to my island brother. I'm taking Christmas off with the family, mostly my grandkids. No power outages Saturday. We do have serviceman on standby. Well, we're supposed to get cold. We're supposed to get some snow, and then next week. So, the lowest temperature ever recorded at sea level in the Puget Sound area is like 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And the European models are showing that we will get perhaps -2 or below that on Wednesday or Thursday. The coldest it's ever been since I've been alive has been 8 degrees as a low. So we're going to be crushing that record, dropping it by 10 degrees at least sometime next week. We're not used to that kind of cold. Like, it dips below freezing a couple of times in the evening throughout the winter. You might get some frost on the ground, or it might snow a couple times a year. We're not negative temperatures Fahrenheit. For those Europeans, it's -20 Celsius. That's what they're predicting for the Citadel area. We don't do that here. Last summer, we shattered temperature records at like 118 degrees Fahrenheit when the previous record was 103. We shattered those records. Now we're going to shatter cold records next week. The weather's weird. Monkey, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't go anywhere. You're stuck in the room, bud. I know, you heard a car. It's just someone probably delivering Amazon boxes or something. So chill out, buddy. Chill out. Yeah, weather's going to be weird. So Grandpa Barney, I hope that we don't have like some sort of ice storm that freezes trees and explodes them everywhere. And you have to spend your holiday week keeping my power on. Okay. Aaron F., can we just take a second to talk about Houston's guest the other day? Like, holy shit. Yeah, Laser Haas, he definitely dumped a lot on us. It was, I'm still trying to process. He's sending me documents and things. I'm trying to go through them. But man, it is so much. There's legal documents. There's government documents. There's contracts. Those sorts of things. And he's, sending some, I need like a lawyer to go through it all. I can't, it's just so much information. But he said that I was his first interview in like 12 years. So, here, monkey dog. So yeah, I think he just had so much he had to get out. It's just, and just, man, just dumped it all on us. That was a lot. Also, the annoying thing, YouTube, when it's done processing the standard definition version of the show for people to watch later, they automatically insert ads. They did like 85 ads. There's automatically put like every minute or two, we'll just put one in there. And I had to go through and delete all these. Like, I don't understand. Well, YouTube, what's your problem, man? Like, an ad every 15 minutes is fine. You don't need to put in an ad every minute and 30 seconds for a 3-hour show. That was a lot. Yeah, Anna Rolnick. Laser was a very interesting, but I would have liked Houston to have controlled the interview a little more. Yeah. Laser gave more details than the average listener could digest. That was that. Yes. I was just like trying to draw a map in my head the entire time. It was a lot of info. I totally, like, going into it, I thought he just could sort of explain, like, the general mechanics behind one of these vulture takeovers, and, you know, his experience as the head of a company that was getting, you know, a hostile takeover, and it went deeper and further, and holy smoke, yeah. and that was a lot. I was exhausted at the end of that, just going, oh, okay, yeah, the entire time. Okay. And Rolnick also says, counting down to NMTLP oil code dividend information, feel like they will announce at 11:59 on 12/31 and say they're just kicking the can down the road. Possibly. Yeah. Fried Tater is in Hawaii saying, Mele Kaliki Maka. Houston, may your holidays be full of good cheer and future fond memories. Thank you. All right. B asks, Houston, what makes you so sure you'll be able to sell your GME for outrageous prices? What if brokers go under and sell orders don't get processed? Also, can they just not pay out? Thanks for your time. I mean, the shares have to be covered. I mean, they have to close these positions at some point. If you're worried about brokers going under, then don't use a trading app. Use an actual brokerage, like a big giant institution that has trillions of dollars in assets under management, and they're gonna be fine. Your TD Ameritrade, your Wealthsimple, your Interactive Brokers, your Fidelities, they're not going anywhere. They have so much money under management that they're fine. Robinhoods, SoFis, Webull, those guys are trading apps, and they don't necessarily have all the power in the world. And if they're doing payment for order flow, that's where they can get in trouble, especially during the FOMO phase. People are like, oh shit, I need to jump in on this thing before it's too late. That's where they lose billions and billions of dollars, and they can get margin called themselves. So make sure that you aren't using payment for order flow systems for those things. That's what I've done. I have most of my holdings now in Fidelity. Okay. Lou vs. Wall Street seems to think prices will only get processed maybe in the 10,000, nothing higher. Yeah, I don't like Lou. I mean, I never met the dude, never talked with him, but I've not seen a video yet from him where I go, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's the one telling everyone to stop buying. Well, if you stop buying, then the buy pressure disappears, and then they can just hammer down the price, and that's what happens. I don't agree with Lou's assessments on pretty much anything at this point. Okay. Johnny A., what are your thoughts on Inca stones in Peru depicting human surgeries and dinosaurs with people? What? I've never heard of that. Incan stones, dinosaurs. That's up there on the Google. Let's see if we can. All right. Go scene. We go Chrome. Oh, I forgot to assign the Chrome. That's right. Got to assign the Chrome. Done. Okay. Go do your thing. There we go. Inca stones are a collection of andesite stones found in Ica province. Ica stones, not Incan. Ica stones. All right. Bear a variety of diagrams. Some of them are supposedly have depictions of dinosaurs, what are alleged to be advanced technology. These are recognized as modern curiosities or hoaxes. This is from Wikipedia. 1960s Javier Cabrera Darquea began to collect and popularize stones, obtaining many of them from a farmer named Basilo Ushuya. Ushuya, after claiming them to be real ancient artifacts, admitted to creating the carvings he had sold and said he produced a patina by baking the stone in cow dung. So apparently they're hoaxes. They're pretty cool looking though. Right? So that's a dinosaur looking thing, I take it. And there's a Stegosaurus. Alright. There's a whole bunch of them. Hey man, more power to that dude. Alright, so I never heard of these things, but apparently they are a hoax. Well, there you go. Bill M. Super Chats, is there a deadline for covering shares? Well, it depends on what you can do to mask your holdings or your debts. So when we say covering and closing, sometimes we use the terms interchangeably and they don't necessarily mean the same thing. So like the reg show requires, in order to sell naked, you have to prove that there's someone out there you can utilize and get the real shares from if needed. So if you're going to sell 100 naked shares of GME, you're supposed to identify a holder of 100 shares of GME who, if push comes to shove, will sell you those shares to close the position. So the cover is identifying who has those shares. Closing is buying the real ones and delivering them. Now, with FTDs, you're supposed to have they're supposed to close positions when there's a failure to deliver. The brokerage is supposed to liquidate them, force buy the shares, and then replace whatever synthetics were generated and close that position and be done. Now, how do I put this? There are ways for them to cover those positions without closing. They can package all those FTDs into some sort of weird debt swap and trade them with somebody else. And when that happens, a new owner gets assigned to those FTDs on either side and they get reset. If there is a market maker can get to that T35 date and just keep going. And there's a loophole that allows them to like never cover. And so the onus sort of disappears unless for some reason the market maker can't make capital requirements, meaning they don't have the money on hand, they don't have the assets on hand, and they can then face liquidation by the prime broker to meet that capital requirement, which means they may have to go out there and actually finally close those positions that they created. So there's covering and closing, they're similar, and I do it all the time. I use one for the other, and I don't mean it necessarily that way. But yeah, that's how it goes. Nice sweater. You guys like my sweater? It's got Santa. There used to be more lights. There was like 5 more lights in here, but over the past 2 years, the cat, since I've worn this sweater, the cat decided to make it his bed, and it's like all pulled out on this side. And I think anytime you move, the light turns on. And I'm pretty sure that he like did enough turning and tossing, turning on this thing that all the batteries are dead. And they're also, I can't replace them either. They're like inside the sweater. Oh well. C'est la vie. But there's more blinky lights than just the fireplace. Okay, Angelo Torrenos, Houston, where the F is my Torch special dividend? Come January, your Torchlight preferred shares become Oilco. And word is Oilco, which is now the new oil company, has a buyer lined up for their university lands, the Oro Grande oil fields that they have. And it's somewhere in the billions of dollars that oil field's going to sell for. And then that becomes the special dividend. We've had no confirmation of that, but there's an oil company, and I forget who sent me the info. There's an oil company talking about a new purchase they're making, and it just sounds exactly like the fields that Torchlight owned. So the oil guys that we've had in here in the past, they talk a lot about how the first couple of weeks of the first quarter of the year is when a lot of the oil field deals are made. So we're waiting for that. Exclusive. Oh shit! Where'd you? I just scrolled this pinch so I could read this, and then it vanished. And it was exclusive something or other. There's B. There's that stone. Exclusive 605. There we go. Anyone see the clip from Al from Boston claiming FINRA members buying AMC, which doesn't make a lot of sense since FINRA members does not equal FINRA internal employee? That's true. I mean, I think everybody's a member of FINRA, aren't they? If you are a brokerage or an exchange or any of that stuff, you are a member of FINRA. I'll have to look that up. I saw a tweet about it, but I didn't have a chance to dive deep into that thing. So, do you need a long extension cord for your sweater? Yeah, I just got a 100-foot orange cable from Ace, and I just dragged that around with me. Plug it in. I used to have a really great one when I was a kid that had a little village, and the village was lit up with little lights, and then there was Santa's sleigh, and Rudolph had a red nose. And this is the 80s, so there was like an entire battery pack with like 12 AA's that would go in the sweater. Before long, the sweater was like drooping down from the weight of the battery pack. And back then, they weren't LEDs. They were like full-on filament light bulbs, so those batteries just got burned through in a school day. But I love that sweater. Chris T, GMG sent out prototype batteries to potential customers around the world this week, telling them to test them out. Fantastic. I want to see those results. These supercapacitors are cool. Traditionally, capacitors, they charge quick, discharge quick, and that's the way they go. But they put a membrane between the two sides of the capacitor, and it slows down the discharge while charging just as fast as a regular capacitor. It's really cool stuff. And I think the supercapacitors, it's the future. That's what we're going to be using for everything. Hand fingers, would you ever get your eyes lasered? Yes. That is my MOAS gift to myself, is going to be lasering my eyeballs so I don't have to wear glasses anymore. And I can be like a teenager again, seeing things. Or be like my 85-year-old father who now has like 20/14 vision because he got his eyes lasered. It's ridiculous. My dad's TV is like that big. And it sits in a room that's, 30 or 40 feet from his seat at the dinner table. He might have a football game on silent, and I can ask him, "Hey, Dad, what's the score?" And he'll be like, 10-7 Raiders. And I'm like, how the hell? Because the Chiron on that TV is like that big, and he can see it from his seat that's like 30 feet away. I want that. I want that in my life. I want my eyeballs to be able to see things again and not have to wear these things ever again. I've been putting off buying new glasses for a long time. These lenses are scratch as shit because I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get my eyes lasered. But then, truck breaks or whatever. And anytime you save up that cash, you just got to buy more GME. And that's just what happens. So my MOAS money is going to go towards getting my eyes lasered. It's me, BK. Do you hold AMC? If so, why? Yeah, I got some AMC. Not as much as I have GME. I have way more GME than I have AMC. It's going to squeeze. And all these stocks are going to squeeze. So, yeah, that's why. Okay. C-Mill, Merry Christmas. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate an educated person with a wrinkled brain being part of the community. It's fun. It's fun. I love teaching. I enjoy it a lot. I do not teach for the paycheck because teaching does not pay squat. Being an adjunct professor is, you make more money at a McDonald's than you do teaching at the community college level as an adjunct professor. It's pretty pathetic. But I enjoy it, and that's why I do it. I like having a room full of students, teaching them something, and then their brains just go. Like, that might be the greatest high I have, is watching these epiphanies happen and things click in their heads. And, at the end of a quarter, of teaching algebra or whatever, having a 30-year-old student come up to me and be like, I've been taught this my entire life and it never made sense until now. This moment is the first time in my life that a quadratic equation made sense. And like, that is just such a victory. It feels so good. I love it. I love that feeling. It's totally selfish of me, but I like teaching. It's fun. Ham fingers. Would you rather live without shirts or without socks? If I have to give up on my giant shirt collection, actually I can't turn this one like the old camera. Never mind. If I couldn't live without my giant shirt collection and just have socks, I would wear flip flops everywhere, man. I would keep shirts over socks. Anthony Arriaga. Houston, did you see Citadel suing an ape for using a proxy Twitter account under the name Citadel Air? Andrew, want to interview the guy about the situation? Oh yeah, I've been in contact with Citadel Air. We've messaged each other over the past few months. Yeah, Citadel is, this dude's lawyered up, and I don't think Citadel can win. They're trying to get some sort of arbitration done, and the guy's like, "No, take me to court." Citadel doesn't have a chance. He is so set under parity protection in First Amendment that, you know, if this dude didn't know what he was doing and rolled over, they could win. But because he's not, he's gonna win, and he's gonna get a bunch of money out of Citadel for it. Those Rule 11 sanctions are pretty punitive, and because he filed a counterclaim, he might get some serious cash out of Citadel as a result. So good job. If you want some money, we should all just make Citadel parody accounts and let them try to finagle us. Get a bunch of money out of them. Okay. Project Sun, Houston, look up Earthroamer trucks. They look pretty beast and mad comfortable. Oh yeah, Earthroamers have been my dream for years now. The price on them have gotten ridiculous though. You know, 10 years ago, an Earthroamer was like 150 grand. Now they're like $800,000 for a Ford F550. It's pretty ridiculous. I know for a fact that you can build one custom cheaper. Yeah, get that Ford F550 four-wheel drive platform, and you can just have a custom fabricator probably for 30 grand build you one just as badass on the back of that thing. But when you're rich and money's no object, you can get the Earthroamer build. Mudflaps, Houston, do you think frontline workers should be fired for not getting a vaccine? Yeah. Get vaccinated. If you're a doctor, a nurse, an EMT, a firefighter, a police officer, and you aren't vaccinated yet, then you don't meet the job qualifications. And bye-bye. I have no problem with it. Johnny A. Houston, is there more liquidity in AMC because people are selling or because of synthetic shares going back and forth? I think there's probably more people selling AMC, and we've got, you know, more shares entering the market because of insiders selling. We've got the potential. Adam Aaron has been doing some renegotiating of bonds, and he got one of the bonds apparently to set to a longer term, but it sounds like he's negotiating to have those turned to convertible bonds, which would mean, you know, another 200 to 500 million shares being created as a result of that, because the people who have those bonds can convert them into shares, and basically doubling the float. And you know those guys are going to dump those shares the minute they get them, because that's what happened the last time that happened. All those 300 million shares that were created from the convertible bonds they had before, they bought them all up, but it dropped the price from $25 to $5 in that period of time. So it sounds like that might be the way that AMC gets out of their debt, but it's going to come at the cost of doubling the float or somewhere near that. Greg, Super chats. If Gme announces the loop ring thing, how does hedge fund have to cover and close all positions? By the way, thanks for everything you do. They can't. They can't cover, that's for sure. They just can't. They'll have to close, which means they have to buy. Because they won't be able to generate a payment in lieu that represents that NFT, if there is an NFT dividend, and then they're going to be forced to buy everything back. So that would be a MOAS trigger, because they can't fudge it. It's non-fungible. So that's kind of what we're hoping for. We got 6 trading days left for Loopring and GME to make their announcement. So let's make that announcement, man. It's the 23rd. Got Friday and all next week for them to make that announcement. And they keep saying there's an announcement coming in Q4, and Q4's only got 6 trading days left. So come on, snap to it. Let's do it. Okay. Hey, buddy. Does everyone like the new Monkey Butt Cam? I like the new Monkey Butt Cam. Makes me happy. You dig it, Monkey? Yeah, she digs it. Okay. Oh, Jim Huang. Sorry, I totally missed your super chat there. When MOAS and the Fed printers go brr, will we be able to actually get paid that much per share? The amount of money needed is incomprehensible. Yes. Not everyone's going to sell for that much. Like you can't consider that the billion shares that are out there for GameStop are all going to sell for $1 million each. That's just not going to happen. You got folks that have tens of thousands of these shares, and when a zero is added to those things, they're billionaires and they're clicking out and they're done. When you're a billionaire, and you don't have to worry about anything ever again. So a lot of those folks, they'll check out at $1,000 a share. And you have a bunch of folks that will see all the zeros in their account and panic, and they'll sell at 10,000. Or they'll set up some sort of stop loss sale and screw it up. Or they'll make covered calls and screw it up. And they'll be out of shares. And so there's a lot of people along the way who are going to paper hand or mess up or whatever, and those stocks are going to get sold. And our hope is that there's more than 70 million people that are holding when it comes down to it. And the folks in that pool, and that more than 70 million that are just stubborn and refuse, they're going to hold until the price is stupid, and a lot of them will be able to sell. But then there'll be a lot of them probably left as bag holders in that group. They're like, no, it's not $1 billion a share, I'm not going to sell. And then all the synthetics get bought up, and the price crashes, and then they miss out. So there are going to be people that miss out. There are going to be people that sell early. There are going to be those few that sell at the absolute tippy tops of the peaks who make cajillions of dollars. But it's not going to be everyone. It's going to be a good portion, and it's going to be a lot of money. But I don't think it's going to be, $10 trillion that go out just for GameStop folks, because a lot of people are not going to sell at those levels. But there will be printers that have to go burr. But yeah, they're going to have to buy them eventually. Zach D, is Ryan Cohen just going to be a big disappointment and not announce anything about loop ring or dividend? So sad. I know. Like I said, we got 6 trading days left for them to get their act together. When they make these announcements months ahead of time, like, hey, Q4, big announcement coming, and then nothing. And I understand if there's, technical problems and there's issues with development, like that stuff happens. If you try to build a house, you're going to have delays. That's what happens. But at least say like, hey, this thing's coming. It's going to be a little delayed because we're still working on it, perfecting it, but it's coming. I would like one of those announcements at least. Okay. What's happening that William Morgan getting all this stuff deleted? William, why is your stuff getting deleted? What's happening? Zach D, guarantee this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen this year. Ugh. I think MOAS is still a chance, but the corruption is untouchable, and the stock market keeps reaching records in a shit economy. So ridiculous. Yeah, it's pretty weird. But you have to remember, for as many corrupt people are on their side, we have just as many on our side. So we got corruption on our side too. And it's corruption versus corruption, so who's going to come out on top? Battle of the ages. Who could be more corrupt? Yeah. Squamps, when you swivel in your chair while keeping your head stationary, makes it like one of those GoPro cams owl chicken. When I do that. That's funny. Have you ever seen those videos of chicken? You like take a chicken and move its body around, and its head just stays in one spot while you like wiggling the body around. They're like one of those gyroscopes for your iPhone or whatever. Not my name. Why have you not mentioned your last interview? Did it change your mind on DRS? Are things actually that bad where your guest is being threatened to be killed? He was off every wall, but are we screwed? I mean, it's just a lot to process. I don't have the time or ability to dive as deep into it as what he's experienced or lived. He's obviously traumatized, and that's if you ever experienced, like, hey buddy, don't make the gross sounds. If you ever experienced someone who's really had their life turned upside down, they will stream of consciousness like that when they just have to get it out. It's a sign of trauma. I mean, it's PTSD written all over it. And I honestly don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist. I've had my one psychology course in college. That's where my skills end. But it is, it's obvious that he's been through a lot. And, you know, he just needed to get that out. It's dump it on everybody. It happens. I mean, the way Bain Capital ripped through these toy companies is a crime. It should not be allowed in any system for these vulture capital companies to absolutely just destroy businesses and make their money that way. Like, it's not healthy for any economy to do that. You need an economy with strong corporations that employ people and generate jobs and income and lend to the movement of capital. And when you create a system with these loopholes that allow companies to come in, do a leverage buyout. So if you don't know what a leverage buyout is, it's like getting a mortgage on a house. So you don't own the house, but you tell the bank, like, hey, I want that house. Give me enough money to buy that house, and I'll use the house that I'm buying as collateral for the loan. So they're doing that for these big companies. So they say, I really want KB Toy Hobby. So lend me $1 billion, and I'll buy KB Toy Hobby, and KB Toy Hobby will be the collateral for that $1 billion loan. Like, okay. So they do that, and they do a hostile takeover to take over to KB Toy Hobby. Well, KB Toy Hobby has AAA rated credit. And what they do is they take out giant loans, huge loans based on the credit, give themselves huge bonuses. They stop with any research and development. They stop with marketing. They stop with like updating stores, and they start selling assets. So they sell storefronts and office buildings and warehouses and whatever they might own, trucks, everything. And they give themselves huge bonuses. So now this company has $4 billion in debt. They have no assets whatsoever to cover any of this. There's nothing collateral that still exists. And then they just set the company adrift into bankruptcy and walk away. And it's criminal in my mind. I don't think it should be allowed. I think it's totally a hustle, and there should be laws against it. We can't survive as a nation if we have these vultures picking over everything and destroying companies that were working. They did it with Sears. They did it with Kmart. They did it with Toys R Us. They did it with Sharper Image. They did it with, just name a brick and mortar, and they've come along and they've done that. Why? Because real estate's worth a lot of money. They did it with Arstitutes. They came in, sold all the assets, gave themselves huge bonuses, and went, well, we have no more collateral. Peace. and they left. So it's and when someone cares the top and doesn't want that to happen, they get railroaded. Take the bribe or get your life destroyed. And we can see that Laser Haas is not living the dream life CEO of a major corporation would probably be living if he had taken an $18 million bribe and just let them ransack the corporation, which they managed to do anyway. So like you do the math in your head. You're like, okay, do I do the right thing and not take a bribe, and the company gets railroaded, or do I do the wrong thing, take a bribe, and the company gets railroaded? There's, do you do what's good for you and watch 60,000 jobs die and feel like a piece of shit, or do what's right and live in poverty for the rest of your life? It's a conundrum. It's a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Should I stay or should I go now? So, it's a testament to his character that he's like refused that stuff and turned whistleblower, and he has whistleblower status with the SEC. So hopefully something comes of all this. But a lot of these crimes are 20 years old. A lot of these folks that are doing those crimes may be retiring from their work or powerful politicians now, and you just may never see any justice as a result. And they just go, so long ago, we're just going to ignore it. But at least change the laws now so it doesn't happen again. That's what I'd like to see. Oh, here's Citadel Air is in here. Thanks for shout out, amigo. Much respect. I wish I rocked your sweater when speaking with Andrew. Yeah, man. Good luck with that. If you have a new Twitter right now that works, that's not a Citadel Air one, send me a DM and we'll get connected, so that we can chat about what's happening. I think you have the potential to take them for a lot with a countersuit, man. So do it. Take them. It might take years. They may have to just be like, oh, fine, we'll settle. Especially if they realize this sucker can go on and on and on, and they're not going to get anything out of it. So, yeah, Citadel Air, send me a DM. We'll chit chat. You might not have access to your current Citadel Air account, but you should make a Citadel dirigible account. The Citadel blimp that travels around the country. Cita Hindenburg. Hindendale. I don't know what you call it. But, yeah. Send me a DM. Thanks for jumping in here as well, man. Okay. Marvin Guevara. Thoughts on recent Lamborghini tweets considering they are owned by Volkswagen? Yeah, Lamborghini's been doing lots of tweets about going to the moon. And also note, when Lambo is a term that everyone's using about MOAS, also Lamborghini, their emblem, is a bull, right? So you can't get much more bullish than that. Simon Marsh, no second intro today. I took care of it. Some days I get my shit together. Cameron Arndt, have you seen Super Stonk hyping tomorrow? I mean, stuff's got to happen. I'm wondering if it would be tomorrow or over the weekend or just before next weekend. Because remember, we have tens or hundreds of billions of dollars in losses that have to be realized via these Chinese bonds, right? The Evergrande, the Cassia, the Fairmont, the Sicknick, all these huge real estate companies are just defaulting. Some of them are getting lucky and their bondholders are offering a forbearance or a deferment or whatever. But most of them are going to have to bite the bullet, admit they're never going to get this cash, and do write-offs. and they have to announce this stuff before the end of the quarter, because it's tax year. You want to announce these losses now and not let them pile up to something ridiculous next year. So are they going to make those announcements this weekend? Are they going to make those announcements on next Friday? Like, if they meant make them next Friday after close, right? And then so there's that New Year's weekend. Would Monday be the bloodbath, the 3rd, if all those announcements got made after market hours next Friday? Are they going to announce this weekend so that it's a bloodbath for next week? When are they going to announce the write-offs of these tens of billions of dollars? Nomura already announced their losses. Is Goldman Sachs or Royal Bank of Canada or HSBC, like who's the next one to jump in there and say, yeah, we're up billions of dollars? Yeah. Mod Couple, hey Citadel, they want me to bring you on the show. We can do that. We can chit chat about that. Yeah. Next week maybe, if you're up for it. Let's chat. I'd love to. Sitting Bull, how successful was the Toys for Tots fundraiser? Let's see here. I got to do the math. Let's bring up the calculator. It was $369 on that one, plus $732. So we did 1,101 in just donations, and then I don't know how many views. How many views am I at on that one? 6,000 there and 2,000 there. So 8,000. So $80 so far. So we're at almost $1,200 in total. So the more the video gets watched, it gets about a penny per view. So get to 10,000 views. That's another $100. And so yeah, buddy. The interview had gotten flagged as inappropriate content, unsuitable for advertisers. I don't know who flagged it, but I appealed, and it looks like they granted my appeal. So, which is silly because it's going to a charity. Like none of the ad revenue for the charity shows go to me. It all goes to the charity. So anytime you see a commercial on those things, it's going directly to whatever charity was selected for that video. So, why would an advertiser not want to have their advertising dollars go to a charity? Seems like a weird thing. But my guess is somebody was upset that I was talking to Laser, and they're like, flag for inappropriate content, and then that just puts a hold on everything. But it looks like my appeal worked, and I got that money back. I also had a video a couple weeks ago when the earnings call happened. So the earnings call for GME, remember I did it live, and I replayed there. So the hold music was classical music. It's all public domain classical music. And somebody flagged the account saying that they own the copyright to Puccini, and that I couldn't have that air on my show. And so I appealed, and it's been a month now, and I didn't get any of the advertising revenue. It's in escrow, like waiting for some sort of decision appeal. But Puccini died in 1924, and at most, American copyright laws allow the copyright to remain with the family for 70 years after their death. So the copyright should have been done in 1994. It's been 28 years since 1994, and that is public domain. You cannot claim Puccini's music as your own 100 years after his death. So I don't know what YouTube's doing there, but people will do stuff like that all the time. I'll get DRM'd because I might play a YouTube video on here, and it'll be some sort of license-free music that plays in a video that pops up, or a commercial or whatever, and someone will claim that they own it, and they don't own it. They just know that as long as I don't touch it, they'll get all the advertising revenue. So they do that across anyone that plays music on their shows probably has that from lots of folks that aren't the actual copyright holders. But they probably make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that way. Okay. Dennis asked, do you think Loopring will make a partnership announcement next week, Q4, or were they too optimistic? Man, I would have thought they would have made it by now. But they might have been too optimistic. They might still have work to do and didn't get it done in time. And if there's more work to do, you're not going to get it done during the holiday weeks. From Christmas to New Year's, nothing's happening. The only people working are overworked retail workers who hate their lives. Last first, I love your cast. Thank you for having me. God bless you. In Jesus' name, in the blood of Jesus, and you and your family and friends. Well, okay. All right. Santa says thank you. Knobbly Nobody is JP Morgan's long position legit or a way to provide more shares for lending? I mean, they definitely are lending. If you're an institution and you're holding shares, you lend them. That's what you do. It's quick bucks. That's how you do it. And lending those shares doesn't hurt us. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt us at all. The fact those shares are getting lent is good for us. It means the short interest report goes up. So, and it gives big institutions the opportunity to recall shares when margin gets too high. So it's harder to produce some leverage on those dudes if it's all naked short selling that's hidden in these weird equity swaps and whatnot than it is when they have to physically go out and borrow the shares. I have no problem with institutions lending. That's the way shorting should happen. Naked shorting is the problem. So lending of shares is totally legit. I get that. I'm fine with that. It's the naked shorting I have a problem with. In the name of Jesus and his blood. That's some serious thank you. Yeah, I don't... thank you. Oh, all right, how far am I? I'm only 40 minutes behind the chat. Okay, so we're up to par right here. I got it's 2:43. I got maybe 15 minutes left, so maybe I should scroll down here. And so I got stuff I got to do. I got the post office. I got mail presents. I've got to go to the candy shop and buy some presents. Okay. William Morgan, in 2021, the stock market will be closed for all of Christmas Eve. So there's no stock market tomorrow. Okay. That makes sense. So tomorrow, probably not a big day. I don't know if they take Christmas Eve off or if they just do it on when Christmas falls on a weekday. Yeah, so tomorrow's not a big day if the market is closed tomorrow. All right, Citadel, get all the time in the world. Sweet. All right, yeah, send me a DM on Twitter and we'll organize something. Get you on here, and you can trauma dump on me via interview style. We'll talk about the merits of everything. All right. I don't know if I'll be able to do a show tomorrow. I'm supposed to do like Christmas lunch with family, and then Christmas Eve, usually hang out with like my sisters, and we play Scrabble and stuff. So I don't know if I'll be able to do a show tomorrow. I'm gonna do a Twitch late tonight. So we'll do some GeoGuessr and play some Twitch, some late night Houston After Dark Twitch. So we'll do that, and yeah. So there we go. Okay. People don't understand how classical music is copyright free. There's a difference between copyright and mechanical copyright. Anyone can record classic music for free, but they own that recording. That's true, but can they prove it is their recording is the question. Chris R. Need to make a vulture capital company that focuses on hostile takeovers of hedge funds. I'm not sure how that would work, but if you can figure it out, let me know. I'll jump on that any day. Okay. Is it possible for the moon to explode? From Always On. I mean, if you blow it up, I guess. That's going to take a lot of energy that we don't have. Maybe if we throw a really big other moon-sized object at it, we can blow up the moon. But, I mean, it'd be like saying, is it possible for the entire Earth to explode? If you hit us with a Mars-sized planet, we can probably explode. But I don't know if we can generate that much energy to blow up the Earth or the moon. Rick, did Laserhaus post documents on Twitter like he said he would? Can't find it. He retweets a lot. He sent me a bunch. I posted a little bit of Colm Connolly, who was the lawyer for him and eToys, and then became the federal prosecutor who worked on the case. And there's giant conflicts of interest because Colm was the lawyer for Goldman Sachs, and Goldman Sachs was the money behind Bain to take over eToys, and the lawyer for eToys. So there's conflict of interest there. So he sent me the resume and legal documents from that, and I reposted those a couple days ago. Maybe yesterday. What day is it? Tuesday night, somewhere in there. He sent me a bunch more. I haven't had a chance to read through all of them. I'll look at my Twitter DMs and there's like 150 messages from him, and I just haven't had a chance to like go through them all. I'll try this weekend to pull what I can out of there and repost them. But he DMs kind of like he interviews. It's just a lot of information, and I need like a team of people to go through it all for me. What he needs is like a script or to post all the screenshots on Imager or something that's there permanently, like on somebody else's system. And that way, if his Twitter gets taken down or something like that, that it's still there. It's still out there. Okay. Oop. BTW brand, I have an electric toy I bought for my cat when she was a kitten 20 years ago. Has original battery in it, and it still beeps and chirps the same as one is new. Yeah, I have this hat that's like a Christmas hat that dances around, and it's 10 years old. I've not changed the batteries at all. And you can press that button all day long, and it'll sing the elf song from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer over and over. Some batteries just have magic to them. It's like when I was in 8th grade, I was given a light bulb. A friend took this light bulb, glued a bottle cap to its head, and then puffy painted a smiley face on it. And I put that light bulb in my bedroom, in the ceiling, and that was 1994, 95, somewhere in there. And that same light bulb, still raging. 28 years later, in my childhood bedroom back at my mom's house. Same light bulb, still working, has not gone out. It's got a little bottle cap on it. Sometimes there's just some magic in those in certain pieces of electronic that just seem to defy all the norms. Sitting Bull asks, Houston, what do you make of BlackRock's documented and other investments in Evergrande? Charlie's vids presented that investment was a good thing, which I find ludicrous. Yeah, having like $40 billion in bonds for a company that's going to vaporize is probably not a good thing. That BlackRock's going to either have to make an announcement now that they're going to realize those losses, or they are going to have to figure out a way to defer that debt and hope that someday in the future Evergrande makes good on it, but they're being obliterated. They will cease to exist in a year's time. So I don't think there's any reason to do that deferment unless you want to like pile all your losses in next year or something. Yeah. TJJ, what's your take on Scrabble's 2-letter words and its dictionary in general? I spam those 2-letter words, but some are iffy at best. We play definitely house rules with our Scrabble. So we will let modern words in there for sure. And we don't have like an official Scrabble dictionary. We just kind of go to dictionary.com on our phones, and is that a word? My brother and his girlfriend are who destroy us. They just manhandle the rest of the family. The rest of us can't spell. So we're like, there's a word. And then my brother's like, that's not how it's spelled. Damn it. So without autocorrect helping me in my Scrabble, I am awful at Scrabble. We still play though, because why not? Just watch other people destroy us. Okay. Hungry Caveman, did you say you have a cat also? What's his name? I have a cat, Chalupa Batman. He's a black cat. Sometimes, every once in a while, he'll come by and visit, but he's in love with my roommate and spends all of his time just like staring lovingly at my roommate all day long. So he doesn't come visit as much as I would like him to. But he's a good little dude. All right. Okay, I gotta get going here. Any big things here? All right. I don't see anything too pressing in here. All right. Okay. That's Merry Christmas. I am going to do a Twitch tonight. Not sure what time. Maybe like 9 or 10 p.m. my time, so it'll be late night. Might get some Euros in there as they wake up for their early mornings on Christmas Eve. But Monkey Butt, you have anything to add? Yeah? Hey, Monkey Butt, come here. Come here. Come on. Come on over here. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right, Monkey Butt wants to stretch it out and say goodbye. And Adrian's got a super chat in here right at the last minute. Houston, how much corruption will the MOAS expose? How high will it expose? Will it get to Congress? Mwah. Yes. It will expose a lot of it. It's going to cost a fortune. People are going to want to have all sorts of hearings about it. And it'll be the talk of the town for like a decade. And it'll result in all sorts of new rules and laws that will be enacted and enforced to make sure that something like this never happens again. Right, Monkey Butt? Okay. We're going to say goodbye. Sorry for a short show, but tune in later on Twitch, and we'll look around the earth a little bit. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.